Hey everybody, it's me, Andrew Marklowitz. Again, wanted to say hi and expand on one of the topics that I discussed in my very first video. I'll be digging into that second video soon. But I really wanted to expand on the first one because I was so kindly pointed out. I kind of said something kind of wonky, and I need to expand on what I meant on that. So, what I said is that you can't understand the Bible verse by verse. It's like a super shorthanded version, kind of ironic, especially what we're getting into with this. And I need to expand into that. And I said you can't understand it that way. What I more so meant in phrasing is that you can't do what I have here to Bible verses and just leave them as this. This is what I like to call shorthanding a quote or shorthanding a verse out of the Bible. So we have the very famous Matthew 7:1-2, do not judge, Leviticus 19:18, love thy neighbor, which is everyone, so love everyone. We have John 1:4-8, God is love. And let's kind of dig into this and what I was more trying to explain. So, you can absolutely and you should absolutely be digging into it verse by verse, sentence by sentence. But when I say that in context, I mean, don't be summarizing it down to simple structures like this. Don't do this. This doesn't help you. This doesn't actually help you extract text, meaning from text. You don't do this when you're even doing a summary of a chapter in a book or anything like that. So you shouldn't be doing this to such a powerful and good work like the Bible. The reason why this is messed up is because of the fact that take this one where God says, love thy neighbor. And a lot of people mistranslate that as love everyone, but the mistranslation isn't love everyone, it's in how they want you to love and what love is. That's where the mistranslation happens, because I have that misspell that's going to bother me. Whatever. I'm tired, it's early in the morning. Basically, you can't do this because people are going to take a simplistic, basic view of the Bible verse, and it's not expanding on the topic and how that should look like. So, love's probably one of the biggest misunderstood ones in the Bible, and what love is probably one of the most misunderstood things today. I'm not going to dig into that one too deeply, because that one definitely deserves its own video, and I need to still dig deeper in that one to really dig in depth. Like, I want a full 15, 20, 30 minute video on that one, because it's that important, because I think it's one of our biggest issues today. But we'll get into this one. Do not judge. This is literally half quoting what Jesus said, and is heavily misquoting. And we can kind of deem that it's heavily misquoting because if we look at judgment, how it's supposed to be passed down, and everything else in the Bible, that's what I was kind of getting at. Is that you have to properly take the Bible, properly take your word, all of those things together, and go, okay, this part of the text says this part of the text says this is a cohesive, consistent narrative. How do these all work together? Okay, the logical way they all work together is this. So, to just get into it, what does God's judgment look like? Me and my family did a great, and have been doing a great Bible study into Romans. We're moving through it slow as snails, but man, we're digging into it, and I love that. That I love more than anything else. We're only on chapter 2 right now. We've been at it for a month, but that's because, paragraph by paragraph by paragraph, we've been really digging at it. Really, really, really digging at it, and I've loved it. And to cite Romans 2, we can actually get into God's judgment. And what we find is that the law and God's judgment are kind of separate. And when you dig into that further throughout the Bible, you find that, one, the Jews had a theocracy. God, and as Christians, we should mentally think in our moral judgment in the form of a theocracy. Because Jesus came to fulfill the law. And if Jesus came to fulfill the law, that means we should abide by the law. Which therefore means we should think theocratically in how our judgment should be handled. And judgment should be handled by something that is ordained and given by God. Something that you will notice Britain has in its depths and its core, and its, I don't remember which papers, but I know it does. We have it as Americans in our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and all of those things. We have them all in there. Meaning our government is supposed to be God ordained and therefore supposed to protect our God-given rights and those kind of things. Wherein that also means that because they're entitled to do that, and that's a responsibility they have, they're therefore also entitled and allowed to enact God's judgment. And how, for example, great ways how we've dictated that in the U.S. Is we give you a fair trial, but in many, well, not that many places anymore, in many places, death penalty is allowed. And you look at, oh man, death penalty, you're killing someone, that's so bad. God, I don't even know, I'd need to really dig through the total times, but I would say at least 10 or 15 times in the Bible when it comes to relating to the murder and act of murder, God says, and quite clearly says, if you murder somebody, death. End of story. Your judgment on this earth is death. Now again, I need to dig into that in the modern day, see if that still applies and things like that. But if we're going off historical precedent in that case, death penalty should be given for murder at the very least. That's kind of what I wanted to dig into. I hope I've explained this a little bit better. But basically the idea is that, yes, look at the Bible verse by verse, look at the Bible sentence by sentence, but look at it when you're doing that as a whole book. And break it down sentence by sentence as a whole book. Don't pull out a piece, look at it on its own as nothing else, and all on its own as nothing else, and don't look at the rest of Scripture. That'll lead you astray, and that's terrible to do. This has been my quick little video on this. And I hope I've explained things pretty well. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon, all of those good things. I'll catch you guys later.